What just happened in Washington shocked everyone watching live. A fiery Senate hearing turned into a clash of words, accusations, and interruptions, all centered around one man, U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The moment began like any other oversight hearing, but it quickly spiraled into a heated confrontation that exposed deep divides over America's response to COVID-19, vaccines, and the future of public health. Stay with me, because the scenes that unfolded inside that committee room are unlike anything we've seen before. The atmosphere was already tense as the session opened. Democratic Senator Ron Wyden wasted no time, launching the first strike by accusing Kennedy of elevating crackpots. His voice was sharp, echoing across the room. Kennedy sat back in his chair, lips pressed, before leaning toward the microphone. He fired back, saying the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention had failed miserably during COVID. That's why we need new leadership, he declared, his tone unapologetic. The battle lines were drawn. As questioning intensified, Kennedy dropped a statement that instantly set the chamber on edge. He claimed the United States is the sickest country in the world. Senators exchanged glances, some shaking their heads, others smirking in disbelief. The tension rose higher when Wyden challenged Kennedy about whether he accepted that more than 1 million Americans had died from COVID. Kennedy's answer stunned the room. "I don't know how many died. I don't think anybody knows," he said. Wyden snapped, his voice rising. "Mr. Chairman, he doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. He doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And he is sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services. How can you be that ignorant?" The clash wasn't over. At one point, Kennedy, in an almost theatrical outburst, shouted at Wyden, "I will put my mailbag against your mailbag any day of the week." The chamber broke into murmurs, senators visibly frustrated at the back and forth. Then came Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez, who pressed Kennedy hard on vaccines. The exchange escalated within seconds. "This is crazy talk," Kennedy burst out, accusing her of just making stuff up. Cortez, unflinching, shot back. "Sometimes when you make an accusation, it's a confession, Mr. Kennedy." Kennedy laughed dismissively, replying, "You're making things up to scare people, and it's a lie." Their voices overlapped, the verbal sparring turning the hearing into what felt more like a courtroom drama. But if Democrats were fiery, Republicans were more measured, except for Senator Bill Cassidy, a physician, who took a sharper approach. Cassidy acknowledged Trump's Operation Warp Speed, saying the former president deserved a Nobel Prize for overseeing vaccine development. He then cornered Kennedy, suggesting that Kennedy himself had undermined access to vaccines. Kennedy tried to explain, but Cassidy cut him off. "Is this a question, or is this a speech you don't want me to answer?" The two talked over one another until Cassidy closed by warning that we are effectively denying people vaccines. Kennedy's retort was blunt. "You're wrong." Senator Michael Bennet soon took the floor, pressing Kennedy about his decision to fire every member of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Panel back in June. Bennet brought up Dr. Robert Malone, now one of Kennedy's appointees, who had claimed the mRNA vaccines could cause AIDS and harm children's hearts and brains. Kennedy countered, "Dr. Malone is one of the inventors of the mRNA vaccine." But Bennet wasn't letting it go. "That does not answer my question, and that statement is not true," Bennet snapped. The exchange spiraled into shouting, Bennet reminding Kennedy, "This is not a podcast. It is the American people's health that is on the line here." Republican Senator John Cornyn then asked if Kennedy believed COVID had been politicized. Kennedy leaned forward and said, "The whole process was politicized. We were lied to about everything. My job now is to eliminate the politics from science." The words landed heavily, sparking murmurs among both parties. But the fiercest clash returned to Wyden, who accused Kennedy of placing American children in harm's way and letting conspiracy theories dictate health policy. Kennedy hit back, insisting that scientists across the nation supported his approach. In it, Monarez claimed Kennedy pressured her to pre-approve vaccine recommendations from a panel stacked with anti-vaccine voices. Kennedy denied the claim outright. "No, I did not," he said firmly. Wyden shot back. "So she's lying today to the American people and the Wall Street Journal?" Kennedy didn't blink. "Yes, sir," he answered. Gasps filled the room. The chaos escalated further when Wyden demanded Kennedy be sworn in formally, accusing him of lying to the committee. Chairman Mike Crapo refused the request, prompting Wyden to declare that the refusal was basically a message that it is acceptable to lie to the Senate Finance Committee. His voice thundered as he said, "I think that's a great mistake." Even beyond vaccines and COVID, the hearing drifted into the impact of Trump's budget bill, which the Congressional Budget Office estimates will cut nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid over the next decade. Senator Mark Warner clashed with Kennedy, accusing him of ignoring the threat to rural hospitals. Kennedy dismissed it. "There are no cuts to Medicaid," he insisted. Warner nearly shouted, "That is absurd." At one point, as Kennedy outlined his new priorities, tackling chronic disease, fighting ultra-processed foods, and reshaping the CDC, a protester in the public gallery erupted, yelling, "You're killing millions of people," before being escorted out. The interruption underscored the raw emotions surrounding Kennedy's tenure. As the session neared its end, Wyden delivered a damning assessment. "The United States is in the midst of a healthcare calamity," he declared. "Robert Kennedy puts children in harm's way every single day in America. His tenure has been marked by chaos, corruption, and higher health costs for families." Kennedy sat still, staring forward, his face unreadable. The hearing may have ended, but the fallout is only beginning. What unfolded in that chamber was more than political theater. It was a glimpse into the deep mistrust, competing narratives, and fierce battles that define America's healthcare debate today. And for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., this storm is far from over. As the committee adjourned, the cameras captured Kennedy walking out of the chamber, his expression equal parts defiance and determination. Reporters shouted questions, senators whispered to aides, and the gallery buzzed with lingering arguments. The hearing may have concluded for the day, but the war of words will continue in headlines, interviews, and late-night discussions. For many watching, the central question remains unresolved. Is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tearing down trust in America's health system, or is he challenging a broken establishment? The clash with Wyden, Cortez, Bennett, Warner, and Cassidy revealed more than policy disputes. It exposed a nation divided on science, freedom, and truth itself. One thing is certain, this was not just another Senate hearing, but a turning point in America's fight over health, leadership, and who gets to define the future.